Welcome back, everybody, to Deep Dive number 3 in our series on business operations.
3.
You got it. We've already kind of gone through the weeds on, production processes, and the role of procurement, and now we're going to take a deep dive into something I think even more central to any business, and that is the idea of quality.
Yeah. Interesting how much weight that word carries,
It really does.
Quality,
Yeah.
it can kind of make or break you as a business.
Totally. And we all have those experiences as consumers, right?
Yeah.
Where you buy something.
Absolutely.
Or, you engage with a service and there's that expectation of a certain level of quality.
Right. And it varies so much, too.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. Like, how do those expectations differ?
Right.
Because quality can't possibly mean the same thing for every product and service.
Totally. Right. Exactly.
How do we even define it?
Well, think about it this way. Like, you're trying to get across town, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could call a taxi. You probably expect, the car to be clean, the driver to be safe.
Right. Get there on time.
Get you there on time.
Yeah.
But then you think about, okay, well, what if I was booking like a really fancy car service?
Oh, then my expectations go way up.
Right.
Like I want the luxury vehicle, the personalized service, maybe even a little bottle of water.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah. So it's the same service transportation.
Oh, right.
But the idea of quality is completely different.
Totally.
And businesses have to be aware of that.
It makes me think about all those times, I'm sure you've had them too, where you've been just blown away by a company's commitment to quality or,
no, for sure.
Conversely, those times where you're like, what? This is what I paid for.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I think the companies that really stand out are the ones that, they don't just meet my expectations, they anticipate them.
Yeah.
It's like they get me, and that's what builds loyalty.
That's where the loyalty comes from, yeah. And it seems like this idea of quality isn't just about making customers happy.
Right. It's got to make business sense, too.
Oh, absolutely.
So what are some of the benefits from a business perspective?
Well, if you're providing high-quality products or services, you are going to get increased customer loyalty, which everyone wants. That leads to, word-of-mouth marketing. Yeah. People telling each other, this is the place to go.
It's the best kind of marketing.
It is the best kind of marketing, yeah.
And you can charge more.
Yeah, exactly. You can command a premium for quality.
Yeah.
Think about, a brand like Dyson, for example.
Yeah.
They built a reputation for making high-quality vacuums.
And people will pay for it.
And people pay for it.
Happily. Yeah, well, it's like that old saying, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But then that makes me think, okay, maintaining that level of quality probably isn't cheap.
Right.
So what are some of the costs that businesses have to think about?
Well, one of the biggest ones is investing in your workforce.
Yeah. Making sure that you have staff training programs so that your employees know what they're doing, they have the skills.
They can deliver on that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine it costs money to find those people.
It does. Attracting and retaining skilled workers.
Right.
You got to pay them.
Got to pay for that. Yeah.
And you got to be competitive with the wages. And then, there's also the whole idea of quality assurance.
Now, we all hear that term thrown around, quality assurance.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean?
Yeah, good point. Think of it as like...
What does it look like practically?
Yeah, it's like checks and balances.
Okay.
All throughout the production process. You might have inspections at various stages, rigorous testing.
Yeah.
Sometimes even technology that's monitoring things in real time.
Oh, wow.
To make sure that the quality is where it needs to be.
So it's not just about fixing problems.
No.
It's about preventing them in the first place.
That's the goal.
Right.
To be proactive and make sure that you're minimizing those costly errors down the road.
So it's an investment.
It is.
On the front end to prevent a bigger cost on the back end.
Exactly.
And, we were talking about all the ways that you can invest in quality up front.
Yeah.
But I also know that no matter how good your processes are,
right,
things can still go wrong.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just have a defect, so what happens then?
Well, that's where it gets tricky, right? Because discarding or correcting defects, that adds another layer of cost.
Right.
You have to think about the resources that it takes to fix something if it's faulty.
Yeah.
The waste that's generated if you have to scrap a whole batch.
Yeah.
And the potential delays that can happen in your production timeline.
Okay, so we've talked about the costs.
Yeah.
We've talked about the potential rewards. But I'd love to hear some real-world examples of how companies are navigating this balancing act.
Got it.
Because it seems like it is a real balancing act.
It is.
Right.
Right.
Maintaining high standards, but also, making smart decisions from a cost perspective.
Totally. Well, let's look at two different scenarios here.
Okay.
First, imagine a big hotel chain like Marriott.
Okay.
Known for their service, right?
Yeah, they're all about quality.
They invest a lot in staff training.
Mm-hmm.
They've got rigorous quality checks.
Yeah.
They've really created a culture where every employee, from the top down, understands how important it is to deliver a good guest experience.
That's a great example of a large company investing in quality at scale.
Yeah.
But what about the little guys?
Yeah.
How does a small business
good point.
deliver exceptional quality when they don't have those kinds of resources?
Okay, let's imagine a small artisan chocolate company.
Oh.
We'll call it Charlie's Craft Chocolates.
I love it.
Okay. So Charlie's focus is on making these really unique handcrafted chocolates.
I can picture them.
He's using, high quality ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And his customers, they expect a certain level of artistry and flavor.
Yeah.
But he's got to do this without,
breaking the bank.
Spending a fortune.
Right.
So how does he do it?
Right.
Well, maybe Charlie invests in some specialized training workshops for his small team.
Right.
He focuses on, chocolate making techniques, customer service skills, things like that.
Right.
He could implement quality control checks at each stage of the process, from sourcing the beans all the way to packaging the final product.
So he's finding creative ways to kind of adapt those quality principles to a smaller scale.
Exactly. And that's really the takeaway here. It doesn't matter if you're a multinational corporation or a small business.
Yeah.
Understanding the costs and benefits of quality, that's crucial for success.
They got to be part of your business plan.
It's going to be part of your thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot between, maintaining those high standards that you want and making smart financial decisions.
So we've talked about a lot here.
We have.
It's clear to me that quality isn't just a buzzword.
No. Yeah.
It's a really important concept.
Yeah.
And it affects both customers and businesses.
For sure.
But before we go any further, I'd love to hear from you, our listeners.
Yes.
What stands out to you about what we've talked about so far with quality?
Yeah, what resonates with you?
What are your experiences?
As a consumer.
Even as a business owner.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting to hear how, differently we all experience quality.
It is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's those little things, like the small touches that make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's about, just reliability and performance.
Yeah, it runs the gamut.
It really does.
For sure.
And I keep thinking about, we talked about those traditional approaches, like staff training, quality assurance systems.
Mm-hmm.
But are there any new or innovative things that businesses are doing these days? Because things change so fast.
They do.
How are they kind of keeping up with quality in this new world?
Well, one thing that we're seeing is a bigger focus on preventative measures.
Yeah.
So, it's like the old saying, right? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Right.
Catching those issues early on rather than just reacting to problems.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what does that look like practically speaking?
Well, think about continuous improvement.
Right.
Businesses are constantly evaluating their processes, looking for ways to do things better, reduce errors, just enhance the overall quality.
So it's not just a one-time fix.
No, it's ongoing.
It's got to be an ongoing thing.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I feel like technology has to be playing a big role here, right?
Huge role.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing these incredible advancements in automation, data analytics.
Right.
And it's really transforming how businesses approach quality.
Give me an example of how technology is changing things.
Okay, well, imagine this.
Okay.
You've got sensors on a production line,
Mm.
and they can detect even the tiniest deviation
Wow.
from the quality standard.
That's amazing.
Right. So you can address a problem before it even becomes a real problem.
Before it even becomes a defect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saving time and money and resources.
It's like having a digital quality control expert working 24/7.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
And it's not just automation.
Okay.
Data analytics can help businesses, identify patterns, trends, things that they might not have even noticed before.
Yeah.
And then they can make smarter decisions.
So they're using the data to actually improve quality.
Exactly.
Okay, this is all really cool, but I also keep thinking about the human element.
Yeah.
Right? Like technology can only take you so far.
Right.
How are businesses kind of getting their employees involved in all of this?
Well, a lot of companies are trying to create what they call a quality culture.
Okay.
Where everybody understands how important quality is.
From the CEO down to the frontline workers.
Everybody, yeah.
Interesting.
And that can involve a lot of different things. It could be regular training sessions. It could be, just open communication where employees can share their ideas, give feedback, suggest improvements.
Like our friend Charlie, the chocolate maker.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he has taste testing with his team and gets their feedback.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then they come up with even better flavors.
Exactly. So when you create that kind of environment, where everybody feels like they own the quality, that's when you see the real innovation and improvement happen.
So it's really a journey, not a destination.
It is. It is.
When it comes to quality.
Absolutely.
It's about constantly getting better, meeting those expectations, and coming up with new solutions.
Yeah.
As things change.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it.
But before we wrap up here.
Okay.
I want to kind of flip the script and ask you, the listener, a question.
Oh, good.
What are you taking away from this?
Yeah, what's resonating with you?
How has this conversation kind of changed your view of quality?
Yeah, what are you going to do differently?
Yeah, you're going to look for different things when you're shopping? Or maybe if you're a business owner, how are you going to apply this to your work?
Good stuff to think about.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to me how quality can it can show up in so many different ways.
Right.
Whether it's like a beautifully crafted product or just that seamless customer service experience you were talking about.
Yeah.
But I think what really resonated with me today is how quality is this ongoing journey, right?
It is.
It's not a destination. It's not something you just arrive at.
I think that's a really important takeaway. It's not about achieving some state of perfect quality. It's about always trying to improve and innovate. Right. And exceed those expectations, which are, always changing.
And it just makes me think that it can't be just one person's responsibility.
No.
Or one team's responsibility. It's got to be baked into the company.
It does, yeah.
The DNA of the company.
And that's where you see the best results, I think.
Right, like when everybody's on board, from the leadership all the way down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've talked about, the big investments. The staff training, the QA systems, all that stuff.
Yeah, and those can pay off in a big way.
Yeah.
But we've also heard some great examples of smaller businesses.
Yeah, like Charlie.
Like Charlie, exactly.
Who are just being super creative and finding ways to deliver great quality.
Yeah, without spending a fortune.
Yeah. And I think those are the stories that are really inspiring.
I agree.
Because it shows that it's not just about, big budgets and fancy tech.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's about you really wanting to create something special.
A commitment.
A commitment, yeah.
To excellence.
So as you're going about your day today, whether you're shopping online or just interacting with a business, I want you to kind of keep those quality lenses on.
Good idea.
Notice the details, the effort, the things that they're doing.
It makes you appreciate it more, too, I think.
It really does, because understanding quality really empowers you as a consumer.
Absolutely.
To make good decisions.
Yeah, it can even inspire you, too.
It can.
If you're in business yourself.
Totally. So thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of quality.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've learned a lot and, gained a new appreciation for this really important aspect of business.
We had fun.
And a huge thank you to Google Notebook LM for the powerful AI assistance and audio dialogue.
Yes, thank you, Google Notebook LM.
That makes this deep dive possible.
Couldn't do it without you.
This is a PEELC Strategy Production.